was a fairy. Lived on the farthest star, noted for her wisdom and kindness. And all the folks in the air and everywhere and on all the stars used to come to her when they had troubles. One morning she was sitting at breakfast, and there was like a dark cloud rose on the horizon. And she said, "Oh my heavens, what must be?" It was all the people everywhere and in the air and on all the stars coming together, and they all had the same trouble. You know what it was? The old man who said, "Why?" Remember him? Remember him? She flew miles and miles, millions and millions and millions of miles until she finally came to the moon. And on a rock on the edge of the moon was this white church with a steeple. And this old man sat on that top of that steeple and said, "Why?" You know what the whys were. Why am I here? Why are any of us here? Where did we come from? Where are we going? Is there a God in heaven? And if so, why is all this badness happening to everything? Why and why? She said, when she made the first attempt, because he was deaf as a post, "Come down off of there, you're causing a lot of trouble." He didn't move. So she flew up, got right next to his deaf ear, and she yelled at him, "Why are you doing this whying? People are all upset." And he said, "Why?" Let me read the story. "Because I've come all this way to see you," the fairy said. "Why?" said the little old, very, 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 very old man. "Just a moment and I'll tell you why," said the fairy. "I heard a great many complaints about you." "Why?" said the little very, 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 very old man. "Because I've got ears, I suppose," the fairy said angrily. "Everybody in the air and everywhere and on all the stars is complaining about you and making a dreadful fuss." "Why?" said the very, 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 very old man. "Because you're lying all the time," said the fairy, "and it's driving everybody mad. They can't sleep, they can't eat, they can't think, they can't fly, because you're always saying this why and why and why and over again. And I've come from the farthest star to tell you that you've got to stop this whying." And he said, "Why?" And at this, the fairy grew pink with anger. "If you don't stop this why, you'll be sorry." "Why?" said the little old man. "Now see here," the fairy said, "that's the last time I forgive you. Listen to me. If you say why again, you'll fall from the moon all the way to the earth." And the little very old man, and looking at the fairy, he said, "Why?" And he fell. Millions and millions and millions of deep, cool, new, beautiful miles. And with every part of a mile, he became a little younger until he could hear again. And he heard a loud noise. At first a child's noise. and then children singing. And he get younger and younger. This old man got younger and younger and younger until just as he was about to light on the earth, he was about to be born. And the choir sang Jubilate Deo in a loud voice that was heard all the way to the farthest star. And I'll tell you how it started. My colleague, a classmate of mine at the Meadville Theological School at the University of Chicago, started a children's choir at the First Unitarian Church right across the street from the University of Chicago. And they had professors' children galore, and he had children from the ghetto all together in the Chicago Children's Choir. They became famous in time, as famous almost as the Vienna Boys Choir. And they traveled the world, but this was the first stop they made. This is the first place they came to. And the buses drove up. It had been a long trip, been all the way from Chicago, and they were tired and they were a mess. And they came into the foyer to meet the family that was going to take them home for the night. And they sang Jubilate Deo. Never forget it as long as I live. And nobody else will either. And we decided right then and there, well, we'd already, to tell you the honest truth, because I had a dream. When we built a new addition on the church, we built a chapel, and a children's chapel. You ever tried to sit in those pews? And a room just across the way that has a wardrobe in it for the choir robes, before we had a choir. And Dolores Duke was trying to put something together, and the kids singing, and she had to quit, and I said, where in the world, where? And I was looking out my study window, and I was talking to Mark Connolly, who was the president of the congregation, and Lucy Nave was in the parking lot playing ball with the kids. And I said to him, I think we have just found the choir director. He said, can she sing? I don't know. Oh, she could. She was educated even. Acre and offer. She was selling pianos, I think, weren't you? And that's when it began. Of course, there was a sponsor without whom there would be no Witcher at all. I'm not going to tell you who she is, going to make her mad at me if it did. But she made it possible for Lucy to get an education, and for them to begin to travel, and for all kinds of things to happen. And they became famous in their own right. Didn't you? And you traveled the world. And Lucy left. She went away. She married Mark. And then Chris came on. She'd been the accompanist, Chris Ferguson, and she had been the accompanist, and she took the choir and did the same thing, educated herself to become a children's choir director, and the miracle continued. It was a wonderful thing. It was a wonderful thing. Welcome home. Welcome home, especially all you troubadours and you minstrels, you bards, you who have made the joyful noise in this place and give it its name. All souls, 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 yours and ours be the poems of all tongues, all things of loveliness and worth, all arts, all ages, and all songs. One life, one beauty on the earth. I love you.
We are your church, and we are proud to be your church, or at least a church that's having a positive impact on your life. I am personally blessed to be your minister, or at least a minister who you're allowing to speak into your life. I hope you'll support our ministry and share your love beyond belief by texting LOVEBB to 41444 or go to our website. But you can just text LOVEBB to 41444 and make your gift. It's wonderful. Thank you. Be blessed and be a blessing.